Welcome to AAPC Social Hour for November 23rd, 2022. It is the eve of Thanksgiving. And I'm sure many of you are prepping and getting everything ready for tomorrow. I was just speaking with one of our guests that you see here, Debbie, and she's saying that Debbie was mentioning that she is having her Thanksgiving on Friday when her son can be with us. Is that right, Debbie?
That's correct.
All
Yeah.
right. All
That's
right.
nice.
And Brenda, how are you?
I am doing well on this Thanksgiving Eve.
Yes. What are your plans for tomorrow?
Well, I'm already in New York, and I'm just going to be helping my mother.
Okay. Were you born and raised in New York, Brenda?
I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Yes.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. That sounds so exciting.
So I'm home.
Now, and where are you usually, Brenda? Remind me, where is, when Brooklyn's not your home, where is home?
I live in Maryland, on
Maryland.
the eastern shore of Maryland, near Ocean City.
Okay.
So I'm surrounded by beaches.
And do you drive home to Brooklyn, or do you? Okay,
Yeah.
you do.
It's only about 3.5 hours. So yes, we drive.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I have my friends from the BOD with us, Debbie, Brenda, Kristen, Tabitha, Denise. Kristen, what's going on with you for Turkey Day?
Well, we were going to get some honey baked, went to their shop last night. Line was around the corner, so I get to cook everything and buy it today. And I have no problem doing that. I love it, but it was at 7 o'clock last night to go, you're going to throw it all together. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it'll be great because the kitchen's one of my happy places. So I'm happy about it.
What's your specialty, Kristen?
I've been cooking since I was around 5. I've been in the kitchen, so almost anything, but probably Italian. There's not much Italian I can't make, and most of my pasta is handmade. So
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
fancy, Kristen.
I think we need to. Yeah,
I know.
we need to acquire a kitchen at HealthCon.
Yes.
And I mean, I am a great assistant. I can help you out, but I'm good at eating it too.
Yeah, my grandmother spent quite a bit of time with us when I was younger, and so she taught me all her recipes, and none of it's all just here. So
Nice.
That's great.
Awesome. Well, we have our members joining us. We have a great crowd today. Mariah at the top here. Hello from far west. So she's not far from me. We had a little bit of snow in northern Utah this morning, which is kind of nice. Sarah Campos, Maria Peters, so many Beverly Johnson from West Tennessee. Happy Thanksgiving. Tabitha, I haven't seen you forever. I mean, I see you on social media all the time.
Yes.
But I haven't seen you here on AAPC Social Hour in a while. How are things?
Things are good. It's busy time of year, busy with the bod, busy with work, busy with all the holiday season kicking up. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here, and it's actually really fun because it's going to be actually one of my last social hours as a bod member. So
Oh man,
I'm excited.
We're not going to talk about that though.
Yeah.
so how long is the term, Tabitha, for 3 years?
Well, it has been 3 years. So yeah, so I have served 3 years.
Okay. All right. And Region 7 covers where again? I feel like it's the Midwest.
Oh, you had to do that to me, Alex. I should have I have a sticky note next to my desk at home that lists all the states because Region 7 has the most states. I will just give that quick plug. But because geographically there's a lot of states that don't have as high a population, but I'm not anybody on the call that I miss, I apologize, but North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Arizona,
Idaho.
Okay. Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Idaho. See, Denise, you've got me covered. She knows because she's my neighbor in Region
Awesome.
6, so she gets it.
Tabitha, where are you located?
I am in West Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm glad that you're able to be with us. Sad
Yeah.
you're leaving, but do you
Yeah,
still plan
very
on
sad.
attending? Yeah, do you still plan on attending HealthCon next year?
I have graduation 4 days after HealthCon for my senior, so I'm gonna miss this year again, unfortunately, but I plan to be at HealthCon and future HealthCons. I'm really excited to be there as an attendee, so yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, you know, BOD members, past BOD members cannot help but want to help and help the other BOD members that are currently serving, and I'm sure we'll see you running around helping out however you can.
Yes,
future
absolutely.
HealthCons.
Yes.
And Denise, we've had you on, geez, I think it was last month or maybe the month before, but you did not have your AAPC Alex doll with you.
I didn't, but I do today. I'm prepared.
Yes.
Isn't he
Uh,
cute?
He
Well,
had to get
hey.
a little stool because he's too short to sit down on the desk.
Oh, that's so great. So how are things for you?
Good, really good. Yep.
Okay.
It's
All right.
cold here in Michigan, but you know, at least we don't have the snow that New York has.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Sorry,
Yes, you got
Brenda.
hit hard.
Oh, well, that's upstate, so we don't, it's bright and sunshiny here today.
Wow.
Here too.
Denise, what are your Thanksgiving plans?
My husband and I are just going to have a quiet Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
we're going
right.
to cook together and just spend the day together. So it's perfect.
Okay. Just hang out
Yeah.
and maybe watch. Are you guys football people? Will you be
We
watching? any-
definitely are football
Yeah.
people. We will be watching all 3 games.
Okay. So Lions are playing, right? They always play on
Yes,
Thanksgiving.
they always
Yeah.
play. They play
Okay.
the Bills.
All right.
Just like my Cowboys always play.
Yep.
Thanksgiving.
That's true.
How does
And
New
way to
York-
go. They beat Minnesota.
Way to go.
Okay, all right, I'm just gonna say Minnesota plays too, and they're gonna redempt from last week when they had a little bit of a stumble.
Little
That's pretty
bit.
brutal.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal.
Hmm.
Brenda, how does a New York girl become a Cowboys fan? You got the Giants, you got the Jets.
I know. And that's a great question, Alex, because when I first started watching football, I was living at home. And so my dad was a Dallas Cowboy fan. So I just adopted his team.
Okay. All right. Like father, like daughter.
Yes. Mhm.
You couldn't say something cool like when Deion Sanders started to play for them.
Sorry, no.
Yep.
When I dated Deion Sanders, that's how you should start that.
Yeah.
That's how I should have led.
Oh man. Well, we have football fans watching. Thanks for chiming in. And Carlita Johnson in the Las Vegas area, she says huge Lions fan. Heidi Bryan says go Cowboys. And then we even have a World Cup fan in
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's happening. And I've never been personally a big soccer fan, but with all of the excitement for World Cup, I've kind of been peeking in and seeing what's happening there. But we've got Heather Eckert from New York who's joined us, Dana Turpin, Wendy Britt from Illinois, Allison Clark from Canton, North Carolina. So many members joining us today. We hope you are all ready. I know everybody's ready for the holiday weekend. Hopefully you're spending time with family and friends, and will enjoy the time away. Do coders usually work on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving? No?
Not where I work.
No, not where I work.
Okay. All right. So we all have a long weekend. I cannot believe how fast we've flown through November, and we're in the holiday season now. That's crazy. But yeah, here we are as we're winding or getting closer to the end of the year. You know, I did tease the Facebook group yesterday that we have a few contests, and we're going to kick one off right now. We're going to start with, well, let me just tell everybody what we have. We have 25 e-newsletter subscriptions. And there are many topics that you could choose from. It's an annual subscription that you will win. If you've won one from one of our previous contests this year, let me, or you are not qualified, you're disqualified if you've already won one. We will do that in just a second, but also we have 4 Codify subscriptions we'll be giving out sometime in this broadcast, and 10 of these.
Whoa.
Oh,
Yes.
how nice.
Ooh.
Yes. 10 AAPC fanny packs with the Black Friday logo. I think it's pretty cool. I wish we had shirts made
Yeah.
of this. I think it's fun.
That's awesome.
Yes. So I've been wearing my fanny pack around the house, just like an old fart dad guy with all my stuff in there. Yep, my kids,
Okay.
they're not loving it. They think it's, a little weird. But you guys, for to start our 25 e-newsletter subscriptions, we're just going to do this easily. So let's see here, for our 25 e-newsletter subscriptions, let's do this. We've done this in the other broadcasts, but I want to know your specialty. For those watching, tell me your specialty and why or how you ended up there. So,
Okay.
a one word will not cut it. You can say cardiology, but tell a little bit about how you ended up in cardiology or OBGYN. And was it, we want to hear that story of how you found that specialty in your career. So let us know. You cannot, again, I see a few people just putting in their specialty, but you need to elaborate. I will pick 25 winners from that. And I will let you know. It'll probably be early next week. I'll try to do it this weekend, but I'll let you know this weekend. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put some pressure on our co-hosts today. For these other 2 contests, we have the 4 Codify subscriptions, which that's a hot item. I know there. Brenda, do you use an encoder?
I do use an encoder, and I love a good encoder. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Does it make you more efficient, or is it just nice to have all the resources in one spot? Tell me why a good encoder will help you be a better worker.
I use 3M, and it does have all the resources that you can possibly need. It does have pharmacology. It has the, what is the biggest one that they have? I can't think of the name of it, but I use it every day. The coding clinics. It has the coding clinics on there, and it's just a great resource that every coder should have.
Awesome. How about Kristen? Do you use an encoder tool?
I do. I have Codify, which I love. I also have OptumEncoder with work, and I love that one too. But with the Optum, we don't have all the add-ins. So unlike Brenda, my coding clinic is not in the encoder. It's separate, which is totally fine because I still have access to it.
Yeah.
And Kristen, could you imagine, or would it be painful to go back to only your books after having encoder tool using Codify?
Now, yes, because I've been using the encoders now for almost 6 years. Yeah, I recently picked up my book for the first time, and I would say easily 6 months. And I'm like, why can I not find the diagnosis? And the search term I was using is not how I should have searched for it. And the book helped me, but yeah, it was painful. I'm like, I haven't used my book. It's not marked up. I don't have notes. So.
And with an encoder tool, you can put notes in there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's neat. Awesome. Well, so we'll have 4 of those to give away. I have an idea of how we'll give away the fanny packs, but I don't know how we'll give away the 4 subscriptions to Codify. So will you guys kind of think, Tabitha, Kristen, Debbie, Brenda, and Denise, maybe just think of something that we can do. We'll close out our broadcast with that. That'll be our kind of grand prize. But just think of a few ideas of what can we learn about our viewers today that might be interesting, or what can we do that's maybe just simply fun, and get everybody to participate. So for my co-hosts in our little Zoom chat, you guys could, if you want, you can talk there and just maybe figure out a little contest or an
Okay.
idea. That'd be great. All right, we have so many great responses to,
Yeah, we do.
yeah.
Mhm.
Brenda, is there one that sticks out to you?
I saw a lot of the interventional radiology. That's a great, and a very, I find it to be very interesting, but it was very hard for me to learn that one at first. And I have a love for pain management and ED coding as well.
What's your specialty, Brenda?
Multi-specialty. Yeah, I do auditing for all specialties.
Okay, all right. Tabitha, what's your specialty?
Funny that you ask. And so when you're talking about codify, I work at a payer and I work in provider relations. So I'm really supporting multiple things in the revenue cycle, not just coding. And so coding is very beneficial and very helpful to have those resources. And I use Codify for that reason, to help me understand a lot of the coding aspects. But so I don't have a specialty per se, besides provider relations and really working with the provider community from a payer perspective.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Brenda brought up auditing. We've spoken, somehow auditing has been this like hot topic on Social Hour the past few broadcasts. Anybody else audit in this group? Denise, Kristen, you do? Okay. Hey, Kristen, how did you end up auditing?
I started a million years ago, before there were even credentials and before you had to be certified, and like Brenda, I'm multi-specialty, but nowadays I'm more specialized. It just was, my career evolved. I started as a file clerk, eventually they started training me on coding. And then we just started growing into, okay, now let's audit things. And currently I am in compliance at a payer, and I do risk adjustment based audits, which encompasses all codes, not just HCCs, all codes. So.
Okay, awesome. Debbie, what's your specialty?
I have done OB-GYN, ENT, ophthalmology, orthopedics, but I am currently in the education world. So I have done some auditing on mental health. And right now though, I'm just doing all specialties with education.
Okay. And I'm looking up here in our comments.
Yeah.
I really like it because I can try to things going on in specialties, not just one.
Yeah, Debbie, your connection kind of slowed down just for a second there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Hey, Denise, I see you mentioned you do a variety of specialties, but you started in podiatry.
I did.
So that was your first, was that your first coding job in podiatry?
Yep,
And-
it was. And my boss actually hired me for that particular specialty. And we actually were just in the process of taking over that provider's billing and coding. So I actually had to go to his office as a brand new person a couple of days a week and work on their old system. And one of the times that I was there, it crashed and they found out they weren't doing a backup.
Oh, no.
So we call it baptism by fire. But it was a great experience.
Pretty much.
Because I learned so much so quick.
So you had to help figure out how to get out of that hole.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Crazy.
And evolved from there. So now I'm a billing manager. So
Okay. And I guess as a billing manager, do you handle, it's just not one specialty, it's a variety of different things.
yeah, you have to be well versed in everything because it is for a billing agency and we have clients in all different aspects. For hospitalists, you have internal medicine, cardiology, you have behavioral health, and you have to know how to answer staff's questions. So you have to be well versed and very knowledgeable. And so I have the compliance, I have the auditing, and I have the practice
Mhm.
manager certifications, and it all comes in to PAM.
Denise, if you were talking to a student coder or maybe a CPCA who just passed their exam and they're trying to figure out what specialty they want to go, what path they want to go down, what would you say to them, having experience in all of these?
Well, we would have to find out what they're passionate about, what they like about
Mhm.
being a coder, and what their interests are so that we can help properly guide them. Right now, we actually just hired a CPCA. So I'm actually training her on nephrology coding.
That is fantastic.
We just
Mhm.
spent an hour together today.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, Tiffany
Yeah.
Strong says, I do multi-specialty coding. I started this job July 11th this year because I wanted to do CODE and get more experience. I came from rheumatology coding and I felt like I needed to really put myself out there and learn how to code
Mhm.
everything and not just one specialty.
I
Right.
agree.
I agree. I do. Good for you, Tiffany. Mhm.
She has a great
Kudos.
story here.
Yeah.
I have never seen so many great stories in here, and thank you so much, everybody, for sharing your specialty and your path and your journey.
Yeah.
I'm curious, do we have any students watching? And let us know if you're a student coder and you're probably thinking, how can a new e-newsletter help me as a student coder? I don't know. It might just be interesting to see or learn a little bit about things you might be passionate about. And I think that's interesting, Denise, that you mentioned, because in my mind, I think, well, what brings the most job stability and earning potential, but it's not about that. You started with what are your interests,
Mhm.
and that's where you'll find
Right.
success, I guess.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And all the free AAPC courses along the way, so you can't pass those up. So education is power. It's
Yeah.
knowledge, and continued education is wonderful. So thank you, AAPC.
Our leadership has done some amazing things this past few years.
Mhm.
I think COVID, the pandemic kind of forced us all to think a little bit differently. How can we serve our members better? And you definitely see that through free AAPC. And I've never given away so much stuff in my life, you guys.
And attend your local chapters. You get
Yeah.
you get great networking there as well.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Okay. I'm going to put a close to this first contest because we have so many great responses. Again, I will look through them. That's going to be my weekend project. I'll just kind of look through these, and what I'll probably or likely do is read through them, pass them on to a few people to kind of get their opinion, see if they have a top 25. I think we have more than 25 entries though. So yeah, thanks so much for doing that. Okay. You guys mind if we give away the fanny packs right now?
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome.
This one, so we're giving away these. So I'm going to change it just a little bit. Let's give away 20 of these. We're going to give away
Okay.
20 of these fanny packs. And someone in the Facebook group yesterday said, what's a fanny pack?
Oh no.
Oh,
Well, they
no.
need one. They need
Yes,
one.
yes. So I put a picture. They said in Ireland, fanny means something else. I'm not sure. I didn't look
Okay.
into that, but yeah. So here is my question for you, for our viewers. So free APC, it's all about the 80s. Last time we gave these away, I asked you what your favorite 80s album was. So tell me in the comments where you were in, let's say 1985, just right in the middle of the decade. So where were you in 1985? Tell us where you were, and maybe you're just a twinkle in your mom's eye at that point. But let us know where you were, what you're doing in 1985. And I want to hear, Jamie Smith says she was born in
She was
1985.
Born in 1985.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jamie, where were you born? What city were you in? And I might have to tweak this contest a little bit, but
Yeah, in middle school.
is that what you see, Brenda?
Yeah, Sandy said she was in middle school.
Okay, well, why don't you read a few of them as they come through, Brenda?
Okay, Sarah Campo says she was 1 year old. Heather was a sophomore in high school.
Me too.
And we have Kelly is St. Louis working my first coding job. And Shannon, I was 15 and still in middle school. Yeah.
Fun. Jamie says, I was 2 years old and probably at my great grandma's.
I was, yeah.
I officially feel like a dinosaur now. Thank you.
Well, Kristen, where were you in 85?
I was 37 years old.
You do not look it.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm 54. I just turned 54. Thank you very much. Those are my genes. We were here in California, and in 85, I was in a doctor's office, I believe. I was in a doctor's office working. So
you weren't coding in 85?
I wasn't, but that first job was I was in high school. And went to be a medical records clerk, and then eventually went up. I think it was an orthopedic office, and I was everything: the office manager, the coder, the biller. I'm pretty sure that's when that was. It was a dark time. Not my favorite job I've ever had.
I have y'all beat. I'm sorry, gosh, now I really feel old myself. Kristen, you're way behind me.
Debbie, tell us your 85 story.
I was giving birth. I had my firstborn in 1985.
Wow.
Yes. So it was a good year.
And were you working at that time?
Yes, I was working for an otolaryngologist, ENT. I loved it. That's been one of my favorite fields.
Coding?
And yes, coding, office manager, daily operations and billing and the whole gamut. It was great.
Awesome. Tabitha, how about yourself?
I was 7. I was in first grade. I was did not know medical coding existed, but I was, living the dream.
All right. You're 7 and you're serving in Region 7.
That's meant to be, yeah. So I will say that I must have had, I enjoy the 80s music. So, even though I was 7, I enjoyed, and that was just in the middle of the decade, like you said, but yeah. Love the 80s.
Yeah.
My daughter asks me all the time when I have the 80s on, and she'll say, "Oh, Mom, who is that?" And she was born 1990, so she was she wasn't even born, and but I still love the music. I really do. And I love those fanny packs. Those fanny packs. I love them for Black Friday specials for AAPC. I think it was great. Whoever picked that, it was awesome.
And the neon colors. The neon colors are my favorite.
Yeah. Are you wearing leg warmers right now, Tabitha?
Am I what?
Wearing leg warmers, or yeah.
I definitely
have
own
bracelets.
some. Yep, I do. There might have been a few pictures of that this last summer at a wine stomp competition that was 80s themed. So if you're my Facebook friend, you might have seen them.
Oh man, that's awesome. We in 85, I was 10. My dad was in the Air Force, and we had just a few years prior, we were just stationed in we were previously in Guam, but then got stationed to Utah, and that's it. And I knew nothing about medical coding till I was 40 something. And I drove up to the office and I thought, AAPC, what is this? What do they do? Oh boy. All right, you guys. So I will look through those. We will pick 20 winners, and I will notify everybody early next week. Or
Sarah
maybe
says
sooner.
she's the same age as you, Alex.
All right. It's a good 75. It's a good year, I hear.
And someone also loves the leg warmers, Tabitha.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with them.
No, you can't. I wear mine here. Don't laugh at me. I know I live in California, but 40-degree nights for us is really cold. And so I will wear mine at night.
We need a picture of that, Kristen.
Yeah, we do.
You got it, Tabitha, just for you.
Thank you.
And I just need to know, where are you buying leg warmers at? Amazon?
Amazon, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, Brenda had some great things to kind of bring up, and or points of topics to discuss. And so one of these came up in the Facebook group when I announced the prizes yesterday and trying to encourage everybody to join in. And that's getting time off for meetings, seminars, and conferences. Like there's so much professional development, and you guys absolutely need it because the industry is constantly evolving. How do you guys do it? Like you're working today. How do you make arrangements to be here, especially as BOD members, speaking at chapters, and navigating through your schedule? Brenda, let's start with you.
Well, I am on vacation this week, but generally, I just use the time as a lunch break. And if it is not in the middle of the day, I will, my employer is very good and very involved with education and just gaining higher information in the coding world, whether it be coding, billing, auditing. And so it's never really a time that they'll tell us no. And so when you go to your employer and ask, and when you lead with, this is going to better myself, which is in turn will help better the company, you'll get a good response. And so that's how I go into it. But generally, most times for these, I do it as a lunch break.
Okay. Tabitha, how about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of what Brenda said, when you're thinking about the nooks and crannies in your day of life, that you have a full-time job, I also use my lunch break or breaks. I have a very open dialogue with any employer that I might have to ensure the same, that they understand the reciprocation of my education and my professional development and how that is displayed in the company. But I would also say personally, I make a personal goal to look at my calendar ahead of time to see what I can do to professionally grow myself, whether that's being in the evenings and speaking to a local chapter across the nation, or using LinkedIn as a learning opportunity, connecting on Facebook. It's really looking at the nooks and crannies of your own life to identify where you want to grow and how you can plug that into your life. I think making a plan is huge.
Right.
Hey.
Agree.
Denise, how about yourself?
I come in early to make up for the time. So my employer, she's very supportive of AAPC and everything that I do, and with the chapters and stuff like that. So I usually can just have a conversation with her, and it's fine. I make up the time that I need to be gone. Education benefits everyone.
Yeah,
so not just me, but it benefits our employees because that knowledge is shared, and then it benefits our clients because then we're more knowledgeable about certain aspects that we can educate them on as well, that they need to maybe change what they're doing.
Candy Everett says my company has allotments for training and education, so time allotments. I don't know how common that is, but that might be something worth asking. Maybe you haven't heard about that, and they might have something out there. But I love that.
Absolutely.
Angelica Garcia says, I wish our employers would pay for conferences. And well, first off, do any of you have your employer pay for AAPC conferences?
I
Kristen?
have.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you have to ask them, and some of us might be nervous to put in that request, make that request. What's the best approach to asking your employer if they would pay for HealthCon?
So
I
my,
actually think,
go ahead,
no,
Brenda.
I'm just gonna add, before Denise, I just want to add that the AAPC during conference time, you all put out a great letter to hand out to employers explaining the benefits of conference. So that's a great start. That is a great start there. But I'm sorry, Denise.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say, you take the agenda that AAPC puts out too, and go through that, highlight some of those important sessions, have a conversation with your employer and say,
Right.
look, we do this. We could go and we could get this education and make sure that we're still doing everything the way it's supposed to be doing, so we're compliant. And if I was your employer, I'd be like, yep, we need that.
Yeah.
I do. I build it into our budget. Fortunately, I'm the manager of the team, so it's built into the budget for at least one person to go to either HealthCon or regional. But to do that initially, I did what Denise just said. I took the agenda and I outlined all the things that would apply to what we do in the organization. And I just pitched it to them from the perspective of, you need me to be certified. And for me to maintain that credential, I need the education. So this is win-win for all of us. It was a compelling enough argument that we have a corporate membership and all of our certified staff members have access to the webinars. Plus, we periodically will get to go to conferences.
I do see Linda Wright says, my employer pays if I ask. And I think that's a key point there. The last part, if she asks, just ask. Take that agenda, take that letter to back up everything. And so, start with the ask.
I saw.
Plan.
Oh, go ahead, Tabitha.
Sorry, and making a plan, like Kristen said, maybe it doesn't happen that year, but the budget can then be taken into consideration for future years. I think the awesome opportunity when virtual there is a financial decrease in that option as well that you can present to your employer. So really making that plan and documenting it out using the agenda, putting the financial specs together for your employer is very helpful. It kind of shows your investment into the ask.
Right, absolutely.
I
Sarah
100%
Reagan,
agree.
I
ahead.
see Sarah Reagan says, I just sent the agenda to my job. If not, I'll be using PTO to attend. And that's another great point. When they see that you attend this and you're using your own time, maybe they'll come back and be like, she attends this often on her own time. Let's look at the agenda. Let's sit down with her and have this conversation.
There was a comment a few months ago regarding HealthCon in the Facebook group, and people were talking about the cost of it, and many were saying, well, it's so expensive. But if you come at it, come to your employer with an angle of, well, we want to improve our revenue cycle. We want to ensure cleaner claims are submitted, and it's not, you're thinking about this fraction of a cost versus how much we can improve our reimbursement.
But if they were hit with a compliance audit and got all those penalties and fines, this is minimal cost.
And we
It'll
do
save
work.
them.
Yep, and we work day to day, right? We got our head down. We're working. Sometimes it's nice to put your head up for some air and get some industry standards and connect with like-minded individuals. I think that's not as black and white, but there's some support to that as well when you present that to the employer.
Right.
Yes.
And there are lots of great comments that everybody's coming up with. I don't remember. Oh, here it is. Shanita says, if you don't ask, you don't get.
She's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Somebody
And-
also posted that
And
maybe
it
you
can be
can
that
be
simple.
a speaker. I'm sorry.
Debbie, you mentioned possibly apply to be speaker.
Somebody commented in the comments to consider being a speaker at Grant.
Yes. Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
And we support our members who want to take that path. I think all of you have been through that.
Yeah.
The BOD, just you speak at local chapter meetings, and I don't know if you guys, any of you have spoken at conferences, but I feel like as an AAPC, a member of AAPC's leadership team, as a member of the BOD, you do that. You educate, you teach, preparing you for an opportunity to teach at or present at HealthCon. Have any of you presented at HealthCon?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
All right.
That's
But
not
you
my
get,
goal. That's
That's
not
not
my
your goal.
goal to put
Yeah.
out there
Yeah,
for
same.
future conferences when life slows down a minute.
I've presented at other conferences, just not
Right.
on the regional, and it is definitely a
Mhm.
bucket list.
Definitely a bucket list.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. And I know there are many in here that are who are watching the broadcast who are chapter leaders
Mhm.
and professional educators. And yeah, it's awesome. I know, just going back to Sarah, and I always talk about, because I actually moderated her presentation on coding and truck driving with her and her husband, and it's a ton of fun. But just taking that step into the unknown, which is frightening at times, but man, what a great opportunity for professional development. And I think that starts with
Mhm.
speaking at your own local chapter.
Right.
And then look at how Sarah has grown now. She is
Yeah.
making it a bucket list to hit every chapter within or at least every state within the United States.
Yes.
So kudos to Sarah.
Yes.
Kudos. And we have a comment from Andy that says, I would love to speak, but I need the experience first to develop the confidence and knowledge base. But it is a future goal. I would suggest starting on the local chapter level.
Yep.
Attending that local chapter meeting, speaking at your local chapter, and perhaps even if your local chapter has a seminar, and to speak at that seminar as well.
And maybe buddy up with one of the local officers and ask them to help you create the presentation and kind of mentor you through the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Annie Carbrawl says your passion will carry you
Yes.
through.
All the time.
And that, I feel like that leads me back to Denise's comment earlier about how to pick your specialty and that career journey of yours.
Mhm.
And it leads to writing for HBM. What are you passionate about?
Mhm.
And which could lead, it's just like stepping stones, right, Brenda?
Exactly. Definitely stepping stones. Baby steps, as I like to call them. Start at the local chapter level. Start speaking there. Start speaking at seminars. Maybe start speaking at a regional.
Yes.
And before you know it, I guess it's like, how do they say on the yellow brick road, put one foot in front of the other?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey,
And just to piggyback on what Brenda said, sorry, Alex.
Yeah.
That's all right.
If you're going to speak, if that's something you aspire to do, the first time you do it, it doesn't have to be 2 hours. Put
Right.
something short, sweet, and simple together. Start with 15 minutes or 30 minutes and just practice. Just practice with the chapters.
Right.
Start very small and work your way up, and you become comfortable much faster if you're not so overwhelmed with a huge task in front of you.
Absolutely. And we do have another. Kimberly says, start at the local chapters and pick topics you know very well. And that's a great point. Pick topics that you know very well, topics that, as Denise said, you're passionate about, and go from there. That will definitely help with your public speaking.
And it doesn't have to be about a hard coding topic. It could be
Yeah.
how you found your first job, or
Right,
how you
exactly.
passed your
Mhm.
exam, things like that.
Exactly.
How you prioritize things at work, how you plan out your day,
Right.
How about this?
simple things.
From Maria Peters. She wants to know how to remove your apprentice designation. She says, I have 80 hours of classwork and recently completed Practicode. Do I also need 1 year of work experience? I'm looking up on the AAPC website right now.
Okay.
But do you guys have any thoughts on that, on removing your A?
Yeah, there's
I-
great resources online,
Yeah.
and there's a pre-templated letter that you can
Mhm.
draft up and get to individuals that can help you get that A removed.
Right. I would have said, I think it's Practico, but I think she went through that. Did she say she went through
Yes.
Practico? I would have suggested that as well. Mhm.
I recommend that. I know a couple of people that have done that. In fact, I
Mhm.
actually just hired somebody who getting through Practicode, and I'm excited for her to start her career as a coder auditor with me, and it's going to be fabulous to watch her grow.
Yeah.
Maria, I've put a link in to our apprentice removal webpage. You might want to take a look at that. And it sounds like you're pretty close. What I would also recommend is reaching out to our apprentice removal team. Their emails at the bottom of that page, and they can guide you along if you're confused, or if you feel like you're close, or if you need any clarification. And also, for those watching, maybe share how you removed your apprentice designation. And it looks like a few comments here using Practicode. But yeah,
Great.
so thanks for your
Yeah.
help, everybody. All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, should we give away 4 Codify subscriptions?
Yes.
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 Well, team, you guys kind of came up with I see a few good ideas in there. Tabitha, why don't you, well, let's see here. Tabitha, why don't you share this contest? Let's just go with that.
Oh, boy. Okay. What did I say? What did I say? Okay.
That's good.
Let's see. And of course we have the Board of Directors on. So our lane is local chapter focused a lot of times. And so we're always interested to hear from members what their engagement is with their local chapter. So what I was thinking we could do is, what's your favorite part of your local chapter, and what do you participate in your local chapter? Are you an officer? Do you speak? Do you proctor? Some of the options.
Okay, I love it. So
Yeah.
just kind of share what you love about your chapter. So maybe some awesome things they've done this year, maybe education or a specific presentation that really caught your attention. Share that. And also, I think the second part to that, Tabitha, is how you participate with your chapter,
Your
or how you
involvement.
hope to. Yeah, how you hope to be involved.
Yeah, and maybe you don't do it now, but maybe you are going to in the future, and you make that commitment here today on Facebook Live, and we're going to hold you to it.
That's right. It's a contract.
It's a contract, binding and all.
No pressure.
No.
So what I'll do is we have a lot of answers coming in.
Yeah, we do.
Brenda, any catch your attention? Why don't you read a few?
I like this one. Mariah, I believe Edwards says, I love the May Mania event that they do, but I'm unfortunately not part of the presidency, but that will be a future goal. Yeah, yay. Yes. And Modesto chapter, Jessica Ray says, Modesto chapter gives great opportunities for CEUs and continued learning. Excellent, excellent. These are all great ideas and suggestions.
some chapters give out entries to HealthCon or free books
Yeah.
and all kinds of crazy,
Yes.
awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Misty Le Prairie says, I've recently moved, so I've not had a chance to participate with my local chapter. Well, Misty, find out who those, where that chapter is, get involved. And what a great way to get to know your area too, your new area, and build some friendships.
Yes. And Beverly Gardner Wright says, our chapter has a great variety of speakers and topics. And she ends with saying, the networking is awesome. Yes.
We love
And,
that.
yeah, love to hear that.
Hey, Debbie,
Yes.
what was your favorite thing from your local chapter last year?
Getting to see everybody. We had 2 in-person meetings, and we were able to hug and network and get to see everybody after the 2 years that we were not able to get together. Just seeing people that really put a lot of heart and soul into the chapter and their jobs and AAPC. And it was just so much fun just to be able to see them again.
Awesome.
May Mania as well. We had a great time at May Mania. It was just a good feeling. Get back together.
Kara Jagowski, I hope I said that right, Kara. She says, at Christmas time, our chapter holds a large party in which they give away a HealthCon registration. In
Wow.
1 year, they had a member pass away and they did a fundraiser for their family. So, I mean, it's just really a community. That's what I love.
It is.
Yeah, community. I love that you said that. That really is a fun community.
It is. We just had our in-person meeting on Saturday. We only had a few people show up because the weather was kind of crappy, but we played games, we had fun, we had networked, and we collected
Yeah.
toys for tots. So we had a great time.
Look at that.
Awesome.
Can't help
We-
but notice there's another Tabitha that is joining Facebook Live. And she mentioned a seminar, which is very popular for local chapters to do seminars. And it's a great opportunity to financially support that local chapter, but then also to award multiple CEUs. And that was really cool, but really cool name, Tabitha, by the way, and it's spelled right.
She's got to be cool then.
I know it. And you guys know, but
Suzanne Almer says, I love networking. I also love that the Palo Alto chapter does quizzes and giveaways after their educational presentations. I belong to the Grand Junction, Colorado chapter and was just voted in as vice president for the upcoming year. Congratulations.
Yay. How
And-
exciting.
Palo Alto chapter won the chapter of the year last year. Is that right?
That's
So
correct.
I see a lot of members, through the pandemic, visiting a lot of different chapters and probably getting a feel of how each one operates, which is every chapter has their own personality, I'd say. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But what I will do, you guys, is take everyone who responded with what they loved about their local chapter and their intentions for being more involved. I'll put them in a fanny pack,
Fanny pack.
and then I'll draw the top 4, or not top 4, just I will draw 4, and I will notify you sometime next week at the latest, and you'll get to use Codify for a year. That's kind of that could be a curse, because if you're not using one now and then you get hooked on it for the year, and you'll never want to go back.
Right.
Right.
Oh boy. All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us today. We've had a great time.
Yeah.
And we hope everybody stays safe through the holiday weekend. And we've talked about all of our plans up front. So everybody's going to at least maybe overeat tomorrow. I don't know, watch some football tomorrow.
Definitely overeat. Definitely.
Definitely watch football.
Maybe leave our code books off to the side for a few days, recharge.
Definitely.
Yes. Brenda, do you have any final thoughts as the BOD president as we wrap up?
My final thought is always, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. So just start somewhere. Why not your local chapter level? And happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
All right. Love it. Well, Kristen, Tabitha, Debbie, Denise, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank
Tabitha,
you.
we'll miss you.
Thank you.
Tabitha,
I'll
We
be here.
will.
I'll be in the chat more than in the
in the
video,
group.
so
Yeah, that's right. Keep
I'll
it
be here.
clean in there, Tabitha. Keep it
I'll try.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We hope you have a great holiday. And to our winners, I will again notify you all at the latest by the end of next week. Thanks everybody for your comments and sharing a little bit about yourself. That's what makes AAPC great, your stories and your journey. So BOD, stick with me for a minute. Everybody else, as a final note, you can listen to all AAPC social hours on our podcast, on your podcast app. Just search for the AAPC podcast, and you can listen to us as you're getting your yams ready tomorrow, and hear this broadcast and AAPC interviews, and get some inspiration about what path to maybe take in your career. Well, thank you, everybody, and we will see you in a few weeks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.